So, Mom, good to have you back. Like old times at the Salah Edin.
Old times, all right. I got my mouth full.
That's what I'm saying.
It's a good place. I always like to hit it up when we come to Jersey.
Good food. But, hard to believe, though. It's been over 5 years since our last album. Right?
Yep.
There's a lot of work we put in that.
That was like 3 albums.
Well, it was supposed to be 3 albums, right? We were going to do the
acoustic album that never happened. But we recorded the stuff, just didn't come out on its own.
With Director, yeah. And then we also had what was left over from the old days. We always wanted to record because we never got a chance to. Because we did the EP, and I'm going over. We just did a stripped down version of what we do because, you know, in the old days you didn't get much time to set up, you know. It was pretty much, you know, if I put my whole gear up at the stage, I was like, you know, half the set. You know, it's like, you know, I got 3 songs, get off. You know, but it was an interesting run, you know.
Yeah.
Days with Frank and Dan, you know. I think we still put our staple on the area.
Yeah. Well, I mean, with the 4 of us, it was 4 people putting in. Everyone had ideas. Everyone was creative. It was a little too much creativity. We couldn't keep up with each other.
Well, yeah, I mean, in those days, I mean, we were on stage with hardcore punk bands. Nobody was doing the music we were doing, you know. Now it's there's an abundance of rock bands and jam bands and all these varieties.
Yeah, we were at the wrong time for what we were doing.
Yeah.
But, you know, like, all I was thinking is I want to do something that doesn't sound like what everyone else is doing. And then when we got it out, I'm like, nobody else is doing this. Nobody understood what we were doing.
No, it was, and that was even when we shopped it to the labels, if you remember. You know, they're like, well, you know, you don't fit in with anything. You don't have any of today's sound. It's like, that's the point. You know, that's why I always said it would be the probably end up being the Edgar Allan Poe of rock. You know, it would be like, you know, nowadays people look at it and they're just like, you know, oh my God, you know, don't sound like anybody. We don't even sound like ourselves. You know, one album to the next, song to the next, whatever. But,
yeah.
You know, 50 years from now, when somebody's listening back, they're like, well, this sounds like this sounds like this, and they get to us like, wow, these guys are different. You know, wonder why we never made it.
We didn't make it because we were different.
Well, that's what I'm hoping. That's why I drank a lot. You know, become Edgar Allan Poe. It's like, you know, I remember Joe Dell, you know, walking around drunk. It wasn't like Edgar Allan Poe, like a junkie or something.
A lot of them were.
Yeah.
And now they're like taught in high school, and, you know, they don't mention that. People were the junkies that you go to see in CD bars nowadays.
Let's go.
Hey, Abumartism. Well, you know what? I mean, I thought we broke a lot of ground on Legend. You know, I mean, the EP. You know, it was interesting. You know, we did our thing. You know, nobody ever did 4 different vocalists like that on an EP. Going over, you know, had its moments too. But I think Legend, it's the one we did for ourselves. You know, I think you said that, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, there was. I just wouldn't, like, at that point, since the band was kind of on its way out, people were moving out of the state, figured, let's just record everything that we would have wanted to record for our own artistic goals and purposes, everything we were proud of, everything we felt made a statement.
Well, a lot of work musically. I mean, it's musically ambitious, you know.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a jam band where we're doing, you know, 3 chords and just, you know, improvising over it. I mean, that
was also stuff that the original lineup wouldn't have made the effort to learn.
Yeah.
A lot of it.
It's, and I'm thankful we had Bob at the time, you know, because the first 2 albums, you know, never happy with the sound, you know.
Bob grew up in an era when stuff like that was what you did, you know. People
Oh, yeah.
were always trying to make music more ambitious instead of just copy what else is out there.
We're making it
So
sound
he
like what you
understood us.
think it should sound
Yeah.
like, you know. which I appreciated with him. You know, he kind of got it. You know, he was like, you didn't have to tell him what to do. You know, it was like, you know, remember the one engineer that we had during going over? Like, you know, he would laugh at any ideas you had, you know, because he liked punk, you know, and which was funny that the only two mixes we kept, one of them was 90s Child. You know, Daddy Did Fine, that was the punk song on the album, but, you know, he was, you know, pretty much lost when it came to anything else.
It's funny, I didn't know it was a punk song. I was trying to make it sound like Teacher by Jethro Tull. You guys were like, use heavier distortion. I'm like, that's not what I'm feeling.
Well, it was supposed to be like a funny punk song, you know. It had the angst lyrics, but like, you know, had that poppy feel. But
this hummus is fantastic.
Both are, right? Even the Baba Ganoush.
Even the Baba Ganoush. But I don't get Baba Ganoush as often. There's hummus all over Boulder, but it's like, you know,
ain't
it's
homemade
not
like
good.
this.
No.
Jordanian, made with love. But no, I mean, I know people love Out of the Mist. You know, I think it came out pretty good for three dudes. You know, it's like most of that album is it's a three-piece to be exact.
Three dudes with 56 tracks. We did a lot of overdubbing.
But it was good to do because we never did that in the old days. It was usually one take.
We'd go in, I'd sneak in some Flutes and Heart, maybe, if you guys were late to the studio. That was as far as we got.
But now, you know, on Legend we had to, which like I said, you know, I think it was, I was glad that we were able to put all those advertisements out in Progression magazine, which, you know, I mean, we're still getting royalty checks for that album, you know. People are buying it, Switzerland, Sweden, whatever. Only people enjoying it. I mean, whole voices. I mean, to me is a work of art. No one has done anything like that since the '60s. You know, we brought that to the table. The battle section of Soldier's Lament. You know,
even I didn't know what you were doing until you were done with it.
Do you like it now? Do you like it now that it's done?
Still like the original, the rough take, but it's kind of cool. Well, you can't judge your own art, Joe. You have to let somebody else listen to it and decide, because you heard a million steps on the way, you know.
Kind of like a magician knowing the secret to the the trick. But no, it was a lot of work putting that. 3.5 years worth, and no other band that did that, even a signed band. I mean, we financed it, you know.
Yeah.
It cost us like about $25,000 at the end of it, I think. We had Bob Bolt, who worked with James Brown, engineering, so we had top shelf work on that. And Ken Kelly's artwork, Kiss, Rainbow, you know, Manowar. It was, we took it seriously. Sleepy Hollow. But when it comes to another thing, we have to, oil around here?
You used up your oil?
Oh, you got some here? That's all right. But, that's all right, Mo. You found it? It's like we put everything from acoustic to electric and the dynamics, and every song sounds different. Like you listen to any of the progressive rock bands today. I mean, you listen to their albums, every song will sound like the next one. A lot of them sound like Dream Theater. It's redundant stuff, you know. It's more or less, showing chops or who can build a song with, more notes or chord changes in it, as opposed to creating, different artistic expressions, It's like, like what we did with The Wanderer. Pipe organ, acoustic, and percussion. And that's that's as complex a piece of music that anybody else is doing, but nobody has done that on their albums.
Yeah.
And
it doesn't even sound like the rest of the stuff on the album.
No.
I
don't think any two songs sound alike on that album.
No, it's kind of it's too hard to shop. If you like this song, you might not like that one. Hopefully.
Yeah. Like it's for that.
Hopefully someone will get the whole thing.
Well, that's what it was. I mean, the one guy at Progression, not Progression.
It was a Dutch Progressive
Rock Pages loved it. He said it was one of the top 5 of the year and gave us a 9 out of 10. You know, and the only thing I think might fall short are the vocals. I'd like to, if we ever could be able to do it, you know, I'd like to next pressing go in and redo the vocals, you know, or touch them up, so to say. It was too much, you know.
Well, too much for a couple of guys who were looking for a singer and couldn't find one.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's like with my bands out in Colorado.
Yeah.
The guy keeps saying, I found this singer. And I'm like, he's not a singer. You found a guy who wants to sing. You're only a singer if you can sing. You don't want to hire someone who can't sing to sing. It's like, you might as well do it yourself.
That's why we did it.
Yeah.
You know? Couldn't find anyone to do it better than us. Because, I mean, we go to the Ian Gillans and Rob Halford's type of vocalists where, you know, those guys were good singers. But, you know, we're going to sit there and recite lyrics. But, you know, again, it's like, you know, stuff like, you know, The Mirror. You know, it stands out. Every song on there stands out. Like Cousin Katie. And there was never anyone who ever did classical flute and piano on an album. And even Jethro Tull, when they did it, it was jazz. You know, I think we might be the first to do it. I mean, a lot of people loved it. You know, it's like Brian Watson at the Dutch Progressive Rock pages. You know, he loved Hall of Voices. Mm-hmm. I think you mentioned Sorrow's Might, which, you know, that's your masterpiece.
Yeah.
I think you did a wonderful job taking a little Swedish folk song and turning it into this 13-minute prog epic.
Yeah, I mean, I love the folk metal scene, but a lot of it is, you know, it's more metal than it needs to be. It's like everything doesn't have to be extreme metal. I feel like that scene might have worked nicely if it came out 20 years earlier, you know?
Well, it's because they get, you know, and the reason why we never had, you know, a label take us was because, you know, you can't pigeonhole us. They you know, if you fit down this little walkway, oh, we'll put them on tour with these guys. But when you sit there and you try to be this, you know, this wonderful rainbow, you know what I mean? It's like they're like, oh, I don't know what to label you. This song sounds like jazz, and this is classical, and this is metal, and this is that, and you know. And it's like, dude, it's about the music, it's about the song. You know, that's what I always thought the music was supposed to be about. You know, if it's a good song, then great. You know, if you create a bunch of good songs, you're a good band.
Yeah.
Now it's more like the sound. Ever since the 90s, it's all about the sound, you know? It has to be the same sound every album. Like Slayer. Slayer can't do a jazz song. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, nobody, you know, it's they're not allowed to. We could do a song like Slayer, but Slayer couldn't do a song like us.
Yeah.
And I like that, you know? And again, it's all part of the art that we were doing. It's the old songs like Armageddon, the ending that you wrote, you know, as opposed to the old version. I thought that came out great.
Stretch it out a little more. Yeah, and I mean, we were happy with that song, but I just had that inspiration. Take it a little further, you know? Touch it up. A couple of the songs, like Troubled Times, you know, we did that as Unity in the old days.
Yeah, the bridge is good that you put in the middle
just
there.
Took it up a notch.
Well, I think that's your best guitar lead at the end of Armageddon. I think it came out fantastic. You know, the what was it, Farewell to Wilderness? I ran a VK7 through a Crybaby through a Marshall amp.
Yeah, that's where my guitar lead was supposed to be. I like your keyboard lead though. I'm never going to complain about a Joe Dell keyboard lead.
Thank you. It's Unselfconscious, another one.
A little guest lead by Bob Both.
Yeah, Bob Both doing the lead there. But we had, you know, it's another one where, you know, it's we built up from the, you know, the acoustic into the heavy, and, you know, there's things I think we did that just kind of, you know, when people look back on, unfortunately, they're going to realize, you know, hey, there was a lot of creativity, a lot of good ideas, a lot of originality, which is hard because, you know, Pink Floyd had it easy in 1965. You know, it was a clean slate. You know, to be different. It's the as far as you know, they good man, Omar, good man. He's wearing his Pink Floyd shirt. But it's like they had, you know, they're a great band, and honestly, they put out works of art. Every album. I mean, it's but
But they had coming out of a scene which was so straightforward that
you coming out if I want to hold your hand and can't get no satisfaction and they had this whole thing. Whereas when we came out in 1999, the first album was 2000. It was like there was so much done already and great stuff. I mean, there's thousands of great songs. And to try to get in between them and create your own sound and not sound like somebody else, it was hard. Excuse me. And some people, they could catch our influences. I hear Rush here, I hear Maiden there, but we don't sound like them,
Yeah.
Excuse me.
That's why I always like it's nice to have influences, but you shouldn't sound just like them. You should sound like them doing something they would never do.
Yeah. Hey. Oh, Mike, there's a remote.
Yeah, I remember. Coming. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Everything good?